Good morning, everybody. Pastor Stitch, Narrow Path Christian Church, BC, Bay City, Michigan. Welcome to the Biker Devotional. Today is February 24th, 2025, and we are looking at Proverbs chapter 24. I had a lot of things on my mind this morning. First and foremost, I slept a little bit extra long. I got a long weekend coming up and decided to get my rest because the rest of the week is going to be really busy. And in doing that, I'm looking outside. It's a beautiful day. The wind's blowing pretty hard, but the snow's melting. And, you know, it may seem silly, but that makes me excited, even though I know I got a long time before I can get the motorcycle back out. When I can see the snow melting, it makes me think about spring. And I realize that this week I have a ton of stuff I got to get done. And then I read in Proverbs 24 today, in verse 27, complete your outdoor work, prepare your field, afterward build your house. You know, so many times we forget that it is taking care of the things that will make it possible to have a future before we worry about developing the permanence. Now, I'm not talking about salvation, but Solomon is saying make sure that you get your field ready, get it planted, make sure it's growing. Then you're going to have time while you're waiting for the harvest to get out there and cut the trees down and build the house. Now, he's not saying don't have the things you need while you're doing things. Clearly, you're not going to be out cutting trees down and letting your family starve. You've still got to hunt. You've still got to forage. You've still got to take care of those things. We're talking about old school days, right? We don't know how to do that stuff anymore. Our foraging is in the grocery store. But I was thinking about that when I was reading that today. You know, I'm looking outside and the wind is blowing, the snow is melting, and I'm looking forward to riding the motorcycle. Looking forward to the ministry that I'll get to do on the motorcycle. And in years past, I haven't been able to get the motorcycle out of the driveway even though the roads were clear because I hadn't taken care of the driveway ahead of time to make sure that there was no ice to get me out. See, I used to just drive over the snow and pack it down, and then I could get in and out fine, and it was no problem. But what I realized is by doing that, I packed it all down, I turned it into huge, thick chunks of ice that I couldn't get the motorcycle across. I couldn't drive it through the yard to get out, even though the snow had melted, because it was mud. I actually tried that one year and sunk the motorcycle to the frame. Had to tie a rope to it and pull it out with the car while I sat on it and somebody else drove the car. It was crazy. Stupid stuff, right? So I think today, even though I've got a lot of other stuff to do, I'm going to make sure the ice is broke up in the driveway. Now, I've been doing a decent job of keeping it cleared, but the last snowstorm, there wasn't enough to snow blow, and so I didn't, and I drove over it, which means it's going to melt really quickly, but I can get out there and break that ice, and it'll melt even faster. Not only that, but I can get out there and break the ice that's around the cars, so my wife doesn't have to worry about slipping and falling. See, completing your outdoor work, preparing the field, and then afterwards, taking care of the permanent structure. You know, the permanent structure is going to be permanent. And then after the permanent structure is there, we still have to maintain, don't we? Solomon isn't saying that we don't take care of the needs now. What he is saying, though, is make sure that you're worried about the needs now that'll prepare for the future. I'm not big on chasing the future, but I do know that I need to do things to be prepared. So, what are you going to do to get your life prepared for the future? Maybe God's called you to ministry. What are you going to do to get yourself prepared for that? You know, I knew God called me to ministry years before we actually started the church. And I found every way I could to go and serve. Teach when was possible, but serve wherever I could. I was preparing the field afterwards, long afterwards. I finally got the opportunity to build the house. Today, I have to continue to prepare the field. Maybe there's a new house to be built. What is it that you're supposed to be preparing for? Think about that today. Then get out there and do one thing towards it. I love y'all. Hope you have a great day. God bless.